All right, we're back. Daru Strong Podcast. I have a very special guest, a very funny guest with me in the office, or I should say in the studio, but it is my office, so fuck it, we're going to call it the office. I have Bryan Callen on the podcast. This dude, I actually seen his stand-up on Thursday, which is like yesterday, I believe, last night. I don't know. Nights go crazy with me. So anyways, yeah, I seen him. Funny as hell. Also very, very in deep with the martial arts world. So it was cool to talk shop with him when it comes down to MMA, boxing, kickboxing, all of that. Dude is hilarious, but also very knowledgeable. So we had a great conversation here. You guys are going to love it. But before we go ahead and get into that, I definitely want to make sure that I shout out my sponsors. We got first Athletic CBD. Make sure you go ahead and check them out, athleticcbd.com. You can get a full bottle of Athletic CBD with a discount if you use my discount code Daru at checkout. Make sure you do so. Also, if you're looking to learn all of my protocols, my methods of training, the systems that I use for my athletes, go to my website, darustrong.com. I have the mentorship program now available. It's a one-time fee, and you get access for life. Also, if you're looking to try one of my programs out, also on my website, darustrong.com, we have Body Armor. It's a bodyweight only program, 8 weeks. I know you guys are probably going through the COVID situation still. Probably don't have a weight room, probably don't have a gym. If you don't, go ahead, I got you. Body Armor, it's still available. Go check it out, darustrong.com. Now let's get into the podcast.
Welcome to the Daru Strong Podcast. Daru Strong Podcast.
Let's go. Mind over matter. Put your mind somewhere else and keep going. That little voice in your head is trying to stop you from getting to where you want to be. Be successful and keep moving forward.
With your host and world-renowned strength and conditioning coach, Phil Daru.
All right, we're back. Daru Strong Podcast. I have a very special guest in the office today. Bryan Callen is here.
Yes.
He's looking very swole.
Very swole. Very swole.
Yo.
I walk in and like I walk into a gym like yours and I'm always the least athletic. I always feel like I have rickets. Like I didn't get enough calcium in the womb.
Yeah? You probably need
thick.
more tattoos.
I need more tattoos. And I saw one of your fighters is wearing shorts, and they're making a comeback, which I appreciate. 100%. It's all I've ever wanted to do. I want shorts. I don't like wearing long shorts because I got skinny knees, so I look like I got skinny legs. If I can bring the shorts up just below my balls, now I got something to say. And then if I get a couple tattoos on my thighs, right? Yeah, what do you call? What is the name of this podcast?
Daru Strong.
Daru Strong might be good. I could have Daru here and Strong.
If you do that, I don't know what I would do.
I'll be your model.
This is probably, I would probably have to train you for free for life. Like that's exactly what would happen.
I'd have to move down to Florida.
Yeah, exactly. So what are you doing here?
I'm doing stand-up at the West Palm Beach Improv, which in many ways might be my favorite place to do stand-up. I don't know what it is, but I think like Miami's my favorite place, maybe in the world. But it might come from the fact that I love performing there, and the crowds in Miami are the best anywhere on the planet. And then the second best crowds are in Canada. So you have to go all the way across the continental United States to Canada. It's such a weird thing because the further north you go, the Canadians love comedy, and you can do weird shit, and they follow you, and they're really polite. Miami, the minute you get on stage, maybe it's the Latin thing. They just are there to enjoy life, and they have a secret. There's just something about it. Whereas you go to Pittsburgh, they're working class, hardcore people who they're just like, I work in a factory, make me laugh. You know what I mean?
Yeah, hard crowd.
Yeah.
That's great. So, all right, let's talk a bit about this because I have a lot of people that obviously are listening to MMA, watch MMA. You do have a very, I say, crucial background in martial arts. Like I see you move a little bit. You know what you're doing. How did martial arts impact you in going forward with your comedy now? Because I've seen your stand-up. It's obviously has some stuff to do with it.
Yeah, I was always fascinated with the fight game. Yeah. And I think I was always fascinated with the idea that, and I got an early taste of it with judo as a kid. I was small, but I saw with judo that I was able to, because I watched a small man take a large man, and the man was an Olympian, Japanese guy, and he flipped him. And I was like, well, that's what I want to do. I want to be able to do that. There was something about imposing your will, your the ability to manipulate somebody's weight and not have to get sand kicked in your face. as a man. That was really, even as a little boy, I ingested that. And mainly it came from, this is going to sound really weird, but because I moved around to different countries all the time, every year and a half, my father was always gone because he traveled. He was always gone. Yeah, military, who knows what he did for them. You keep waking up free every morning, he'll do what he does. But yeah, but he was also a banker, but he was always gone. And I think as I was ingested, I think for me, I wanted to protect my mother. I was the only one to protect my mother in my mind. And I'm in that strange place. So I was like, I gotta be able to fight at least 5 guys at the same time in case they close in on me. That constant feeling of insecurity and not being able to protect my mother was, I think, something that got me obsessed with Kung Fu movies and Bruce Lee, like everybody. And then I think just, and in high school, wrestling changed me fundamentally. It changed the fabric of who I was. It showed me how tough I was, but it also showed me how tough I wasn't. And it taught me respect, and it taught me how to get good at something, which means like when I went to Dan Gable's intensive wrestling camp between my junior and senior year. So I went and trained with the Hawkeyes. And the camp got shut down the next year because it was too intense. They got sued. You had to graduate from. It's the craziest shit I've ever been. They train you like a D1 athlete. And the idea was to break you, which was like, I don't want to wrestle. I don't want to wrestle. If this is what D1 wrestling is, keep this shit. I'm not waking up at 5 a.m. and running sprints for an hour. Fuck off. I limped the whole camp. I limped the entire camp. But I think that what was important about that was I realized that doing the little things consistently is how you get better at something and how you win and how you surprise yourself.
Yeah, I think wrestling in general just brings out like that tough mentality in individuals.
Yes.
Because honestly, I know that it's in people. Wrestling will showcase that person. Either you have it or you don't have it, and it'll definitely show you if you do.
100%. Boxing and boxers, strikers and grapplers are very different personality-wise too.
Yeah.
You have to be mean. I don't care what anybody says. You got to have to be a striker. You got to have a mean streak. You got to be able to turn on. There's something different in their eye. There just is. Yeah. They're like Israel Adesanya. Like that dude is at the end of the day a savage. That dude will cut you up with his shins, and he wants to. And it's what separates him. He gives no quarter. When he looks in your eyes, he gives no quarter. There's no nice guy here, man. And he can sustain that ferocity longer than can anybody else. And I'm not saying wrestlers don't have intense ferocity and everything else. There's something, it's just my theory, but there's something about grabbing somebody and holding them close to you and your body, even your body it becomes different. Like you get strong, you can pull people in, you get to, you wear them like a sweater. You can but boxing, just take boxing. First of all, every time you go to wrestle, you might twist your ankle, you might hurt your knee. Yeah. But when you go to box and you're sparring on a high level, you don't know if you're going to walk out of that ring. You might not be the same for real. Like when you train for K1 or something like that, you don't know. You might, if you're a little tired that day and your hand's here as opposed to here, you can die. Yeah. And I really do think that's a fundamental. So to sustain the ability to practice on that level with split second time, be able to move your head this much and learn that and have that kind of radar and work on that and to practice that so that every time you walk into the ring, I've watched, every time you walk in the ring and you're going to spar, and I'm talking about real sparring. I'm not talking about the shit I do. You say I move around. I move around with pros being, and it's cute. This is cute with the actor, and I get to be, But when you watch high level, boxers, again, they are getting hit. I was talking to Chris Algieri. He gets cracked in practice, and it's the only way you get better. And so that's why I have so much respect for fighters.
Yeah, I think when it comes down to it, callousing the mind and getting in those situations. I talked about this on another podcast where, you have to take those L's in training. I think that the most important thing that you're going to learn is being able to take a shot and then give one and not feel any remorse towards it. I mean, you're in there as a sport, but at the same time, you have to get better. You have to have that killer mentality to be at the top of where you're going to be. I know my elites, the ones that I really work with that have made it to the top, that are, you would call them the elite. They do not give a damn about what's going to happen inside that cage. As long as they come out victorious, they lay it all on the table. And that's really where you're going to find out how a person is in real life. And that's why I say, if you are a fighter, you have to have some type of crazy in you.
Yeah, and your personality flaws, and if you take shortcuts in life, and correct me if I'm wrong, but this is just my theory as well, but just in a little that I know about fighting in life in general. What I think is important is that if you take shortcuts, it will manifest itself in the fight when the chips are down, when you get hurt, when you get tired. You're going to go back to your happy place. And one of the things I think is amazing about fighting and the way when I watch the elite and how good they get is like, again, if I'm wrong, tell me, but in any gym, when you're sparring with the same dudes or same gals, whatever, you're going to get used to their patterns. And so all of a sudden you get used to that, plus your friends. Yep. So you're not really going crazy. No. And then all of a sudden you start to learn that, if I keep my hand up with this guy here because he loves that hook, whatever it is. And so nobody's getting really better. It starts to become a stagnant pond. Yeah. And so people don't think about this, but to be really good and continue to get good, that's why when you're in a team like American Top Team, or you're out of like Mayweather's camp and you watch the way they spar and people get thrown in there, you don't know what's in front of you, man. It's always going to be an improv, right?
Yeah, I think it's different with MMA and boxing.
It is
because in MMA you have a team of guys that you kind of are comfortable with, and you'll know which ones are going to be the guys where you're going to take things off or take rounds off,
right?
Or wrap it up, or like, fuck, this is gonna be a long day because I have 4 guys that I know they're gonna bring it to me, and then maybe have one guy that's like, I can kind of just work my shit. But when you go to other gyms, however, that should be the time where you actually get to test yourself. When I was fighting, we had a small gym with Dean, and Dean had about 5 or 6 pros, including myself, that I knew that we were going to work our stuff, but not really fight or test ourselves.
Right.
When we went down to Coconut Creek, however, that's when you got to test yourself, because then it was guys that don't even really know you and they're at a level above you. So that's where you do want to go ahead and travel and train. With boxing, however, you can pick those guys. Like if you have a camp, you can pick your sparring partners, pay them, and you know that you're paying them to try to fuck you up. You see what I'm saying? So
yes.
It is different.
Well, I remember when Brendan Schaub was fighting, and I went to watch him, and this dude comes in who is, I think his name is Jack May. He's 6'9", and he's got shoulders. I literally looked at him and I looked at Brendan and I go, what the fuck is going on? And he goes, you want to be a fighter, huh? And he's getting his thing. And they didn't even warm up. Yeah. And his trainer, I swear to God, his trainer said, I'll give you $1,000 if you can knock him out. So now this kickboxer is trying to kick at Brendan's head. And I was just like, and they were going full, 500 pounds of meat, just clashing. And I was just like, I'd rather do anything else than this shit. Anything else when you have to step into a ring and you don't know and he's going to try to knock you out.
I seen crazy wars in the gym. We're talking about guys like Junior and Alessio Sakara going at it, man. You're like, these guys don't care, man. They're just going in.
I'd rather carry water. Yeah. Do you guys need a sponge off? Anybody need a sponge off?
Man, so let's back up a little bit, because I do want to go over how you got started in the industry. But now you celebrity and all that. We were at your show on Thursday. How did you get started with comedy though?
I got started with comedy because I realized as an actor I was just okay, and this is a good lesson for people who are younger. I realized that I wasn't. First of all, I didn't look special as an actor. Did you catch a fly? That's so kung fu, dude. That's so kung fu. You catch like this, I catch like that. Yeah. Because you force it. I just watch this flight pattern, and I just go like that. Yeah.
You accept it.
Yeah, and then I fucking release it. Yeah. I know.
No, you're very light.
That's how I roll. I know. I'll teach you. I'm like water, bro. And there you go. And now it's tame, by the way. It lands on my shoulder. You can't see it. But I think I looked in the mirror one day and I realized that I was not. There's nothing. The joke is I could pick your pocket in a crowd, and you'd be like, "How would you describe me to the cops?" He was white, brown hair, medium, and I'd just be out there, and that's the truth. So you got to know. I was always very aware of where I stood in the grand pantheon of existence. So I said. And I made a speech at a wedding, and my girlfriend at the time said, you got to do stand-up comedy because that shit was hilarious. Yeah. And I went and saw some great comics. I went to stand-up New York. This is 25 years ago, 26 years ago. And Dave Attell, I think it was Greg Giraldo, who's no longer with us, Louis C.K. I mean, the people who were going to become Dave Chappelle, all those guys were up on the lineup. And I was watching them going, I can't, I'm the funniest guy in my group. I can't do that. It's just exactly like, oh, you're a tough guy in your neighborhood?
Yeah.
Come to ATT, see how you do.
Yeah.
See how you do. Wrap it up and let's see what happens, you know? It's very humbling. So, but I think comedy for me was something I knew I could be good at if I worked at it, and it felt right away. Acting and being on a set, and even though I've been fairly successful and I've worked at it, and I worked at it, you know, I never really liked it. I mean, I've never really admitted that until very recently, but I've never been on a set where I didn't want it to be over. It's like I've never eaten a salad where I didn't want to be done with the fucking salad. I hate salad, but I eat it because it's going to make me live longer. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I hate admitting that to myself, but I was never on a set. The process is so tedious, and it's such a piecemeal thing. So, you know, for me, that's what happened when it came to stand-up. And, you know, people say, well, you're successful and stuff. Yeah, I'm successful. It took me 25 years, man. And so
people don't see that.
They don't. And so I always say that to people. It's like, you know, don't worry about the success, but just try to be honest in your expression and try to figure out what you're good at and then try to do it differently. Try to do it better.
Did you, when you got into the stand-up and comedy in general, were you a little bit like, I don't know if I can hang with these guys yet?
Always. Yeah. You're always that way. It'd be like probably when you start fighting and you have a fight, it ruins your whole month. I mean, you fight for, you know, the first 2 years of a fight. I don't know if you're probably still for any fighter, the fighters I know, you know, the great ones even, they're never not terrified. You know, you start to learn how to control that energy, but certainly with stand up in the beginning, you're just like, I got to get up and make a bunch of strangers laugh. Really? I hope they like my joke about penguins, true story, and they didn't. You know, so you eat all the dicks.
Yeah, well, you went with the giraffe though.
I went with the giraffe.
This guy does a lot of animal jokes.
My girlfriend told me that.
But they fucking work though.
I gotta pivot. I'm working on new shit. I swear to God, my next hour, I'm gonna release this one, and my next hour is gonna be. I'm not having any fucking animals in it.
You spoke French in there. I was like, yeah, he's flowing with the French.
Yeah.
Where
don't forget that either. I went to school in Lebanon. So
Lebanon.
Yeah,
I got a Lebanon fighter actually.
Oh, you do? Yeah. So in Lebanon they speak French and Arabic.
Oh,
so,
okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
How was that though, going over there in the Middle East?
I loved it. I love the Middle East. The Middle East gets a bad rap, but Arabs are some of the most welcoming people on the planet. And you got to remember that civilization. I mean, Iraq was where writing, you know, the first recorded writing and things came from and stuff. So when you go to places like that, the assumption is that they're not on the ball, or you might know more because you're wrong. You're wrong. Mm-hmm. And so the Middle East has had its own tortures and its own problems, but the people are great. Mm-hmm. And you know, there's something about maybe it's similar to Latin, but something about hanging out with Arabs, which I've done a lot of, and everything's a party. It's just a party, man. Yeah. So, you know, there's something great about that.
The Lebanese?
Oh, they're the best.
The
Lebanese are the best. They're their own people. Yeah. They're Phoenicians. Mm-hmm. I don't know if they're Arabic, French, they're 1,000 things. Yeah. It was a port. So they've been exposed to everything, the food, the nightlife. They're beautiful people. It's incredible. Yeah.
That's different. I think. What do you think is the reason behind that? I know they live that humble lifestyle. I think that Westerners in the U.S. in general, I don't think we have that. I think we have too much.
That's because we're on the winning side of history.
Yeah.
Okay. So Lebanon, remember, went through a 35-year civil war, and they exhausted themselves and destroyed their country. This beautiful Paris of the Middle East, and it was factional, and it got so factional you couldn't even follow it anymore. And again, I think that we in the West, we do come from the winning side of history. I've thought a lot about that in my own perspective on life. I come from the side that won those wars. I come from the side that was industrialized first. I come from the side that had all those advantages. I come from the longest standing democracy on the planet, where I can afford an iPhone, and I had representative government. And people think that's not a big deal. Let me tell you something, man. The fact that I didn't have to grow up when I didn't know somebody was going to knock on my door and take my father out for a walk because he was on the wrong side of the political spectrum and shoot him in the head. And that's how a lot of people have had to live. In fact, that's how the bulk of people in history have had to live. Not only that, but to have other countries meddling with your affairs so that your democracy, your vote doesn't count anyway. And we're getting to that point now in this country. And I worry about that as somebody who's lived a little while, you know. But you still don't know how fucking good you got it in this country. And I really resent the fact that a lot of our students, including my children, are being taught that this country is a shitty country, that this country is only one thing, which is only racist and only built on genocide. That's not fair. It's not true. It's a disservice to everyone in this country. We're also a democracy. We're sticky. It's messy. It's difficult. And so the struggle continues. But we're also, human beings are a lot more than that. Human beings are also charitable. Human beings have a lot of love. And we have the greatest thing that I'm getting into politics here, but the greatest thing we all benefit from is the fact that the founding fathers, created a system of government where power doesn't sit in one group's hands. It's decentralized. It's why we don't have to be afraid of some despot, some charismatic figure hijacking the army and hijacking our lives, which is the story over and over again in history. So there are good things about this country, and there are good things that need to be celebrated. I'm not saying we're perfect, and I'm not saying we don't have a long way to go, but we've made a lot of fucking progress. Yeah. No thanks to people like me either.
That's not true. That's not true, because you make people enjoy their time that they have.
Yeah, it's all I can do.
Yeah, but that's contributing to the growth and longevity of somebody's health.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, laughter is huge.
That's what it is. Like, you can have a bad day, you get a good joke, you start laughing, it turns the day around.
Well, think about the friends you have, the friends that we grow up with. Like, think about your life in general. Accomplishment is awesome. Yeah. You always want to accomplish things. Sure. But we really measure our lives on more than that. We measure our lives on how many times we laugh. Even when you're training, even when things suck, even when you're probably afraid and you're walking, it's like the camaraderie. It's the bond you make with your people. It's the laughs afterwards. It's the laughs before. It's the shit that you go through.
Those are the memories.
Those are the fucking memories, man. That's the glue. Yeah. If you really think about it, like I think about my friends, like it's the times that they just crack me up.
Yeah.
You know, and
you
that
gotta have a circle of people that can do that.
Hard to find too, man.
Yeah.
But you find it better when you live a life like you do.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. You know what I mean? When you live an austere life, when you live a life of practice, there's something bonding about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's fun because I get to work with guys that are like-minded, you know, and girls. But we talked about this yesterday, I believe. We got the best life possible. We get to actually do so much shit that people have to go to a 9 to 5, they have to get up, they do shit that they don't want to do on a daily basis. Man, I do things and I get to look forward to things with these people because now I'm living semi-vicariously through them because I'm not fighting anymore.
Yeah.
But I get to still look at an individual, get to put up my part and live almost with the power of letting myself understand that what I did helped them out and got them to where they need to be. And that's really why I decided to make that transition as a coach.
Yeah.
Because this is what I was sent to do.
100%. And that's a beautiful thing to find where you are. You know, that's a great thing when you find where you're supposed to be. A huge part of life, and this is for young people, is learning where to place your energy, and being okay with what you're not. Yeah. That's a huge part of it because we compare. And sometimes we go, man, I gotta get better at business, or I gotta get better. No, you don't. You gotta get better at what speaks to you. You got to get better at stand-up, not better at acting, because that's what I should have been focusing on a long time ago.
Yeah. And self-aware.
And the promised land lies down that path, not the distractions.
Yeah, I think that was one of the things that really helped me along was being like, listen, this is what I was saying to do. I'm very self-aware of what I can do and what I can't do. Yeah. What I can do, and what I like to do, it meshes together.
Yeah.
So again, I'm winning in that aspect. And the same thing goes for you. I know you like to make people laugh, and now you're a comic doing what you love, stand up, everything else. What's up, boy? Come on.
Your son's awesome. Look at him. You're a mini me. What's up, buddy?
You're on camera now. What are you gonna do? Okay.
Yeah, it's really true. That kind of stuff is and a lot of times it's difficult to kind of surround yourself with the kind of people that are gonna remind you. It's not about support, but it's reminding you that what the standard of excellence is, where the bar is. It's very easy, man. It's very easy to forget where the bar really is in general in life. It's easy. You can start to think that this is all I got to do. We all kind of suffer from that. It's just the hardest thing in life when you want to accomplish something, a lot of times, is inspiration. Where are you going to find inspiration today? How are you getting back to the why? Why are you doing this? And so many of us are doing what we're doing because we're fulfilling someone else's dream for us. And that's hard. I sympathize with it. You have a father that you love. You want to make your father proud. You have a girl that you're trying to impress. You're going to try to make her impress. It's all that stuff. You understand? So much of it is learning how to kind of, break away from that shit and stand on your own island. And it's scary, man, but it's also exciting.
It does take a lot of courage to do that, especially if it's like your parents and things of that nature. With me, with my son and my daughters, I don't try to push them to do something that they want to do. I want them to be the best at what they want to do and give effort. And that's something that, for me, my parents were able to do that. Like I never got pressured into doing what I was doing. They just told me I needed to make sure that I was the best at what I did.
That's great, man. That's great advice.
Yeah.
It's lucky to find it.
Yeah. I mean, so with you, what's your driving force right now? I know you.
Originality. I don't care about success because it never lasts.
Yeah.
I don't even know what it is anymore. Mm-hmm. Money, I suppose, you can make money and then you have a nice car, which you get used to the interior of after a while, and you have a big house with a view. Okay, enjoy that. But you, for me, I'm in the business of original self-expression. I just want to look back and say, I did something original. Mm-hmm. I surprised myself. Maybe I even shocked myself. Mm-hmm. That's what I want to see. I want to take stock of who I was when the shit really hit the fan too. Did I meet my challenge halfway, or did I back up? And I don't give a fuck who you are. You will meet chaos in your life. Yeah. You can be as ready as you want. Build all the armor you want. This is what my whole special is about. But your chaos, your destruction comes, and it'll come in a form you don't recognize. And you probably won't have the armor to fight it, but it doesn't matter. It's okay. That's the measure of a man or a woman. That's a measure of a human being.
Yeah, you got to put yourself through it too.
You have to, and that's maybe the whole point. It really is. So I feel like Tony Robbins right now. Only with a smaller head.
a lot smaller fucking hands.
And those teeth. I got big hands, bro. What the fuck? What are you trying to say?
Put them in your pocket.
All right.
Oh man. So what special you got going on?
Well, I'm gonna release what you saw.
Yeah.
I'm gonna release that pretty soon, I think. And then in the meantime, I'm doing that Patreon podcast. I do this on patreon.com/Bryan Callen for anybody who likes to hear somebody. I debunk conspiracy theories. Mm-hmm. And Sam Tripoli's, he thinks everything's a conspiracy. And we're going to start bringing on guests who are experts at conspiracies, like flat earthers and shit. And I want all comers. I want all comers. So that's starting next week. We're going to start doing that. I'm going to get like the diehard scientific flat earthers. You fucking name it. Bring it. I can't wait.
I got a guy who fights in Bellator right now that thinks it's
flat. Of course he does.
100%.
Does he? Oh, cool.
Right behind you, right?
So
there.
He thinks.
It's right there.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you, what's his name?
Tuco.
Oh, cool. Tuco. Yeah. Tuco looks awesome. Looks like a great fighter. I'd love to have a body like that. Yeah. But Tuco is a fighter. Yeah, Last time I checked, Tuco's not a geophysicist. Last time I checked, Tuco didn't study fucking the trajectory of a satellite or how to measure the circumference of the earth. No. He's not a mathematician. No. So Tuco, fucking stay in your lane, bro. I'm not going to step into your fucking ring, but come on now, dude. I love it. I love guys. I know I'm going to take shit for that, and I want it. I can't wait to start this podcast. We started with me and Sam, but now we're going to get real. We're going to get real fucking pros in there.
Eddie Bravo.
I've had my debates with Eddie on the Fight Companion, but that goes nowhere because Eddie's so drunk. He gets go started. But I have Eddie on. I love Eddie. I miss Eddie. I haven't talked to him in a while.
Yeah. So how's LA?
LA is a shit show. Yep. Speaking of. It's on lockdown and everybody's following the rules. God bless. I understand COVID's serious for some people, but wearing 2 masks in your Prius, it kind of bothers me.
By yourself.
By yourself, dude. Hey, you're outside by yourself walking your dog. Take the fucking mask off. It's going to make you sicker.
I know it, man.
You need sunshine.
Yeah.
I'm the wrong guy to talk about this shit.
So the podcast is going well.
By the way, having said that, I had COVID. I was the biggest bitch for 19 days. The biggest bitch.
we had a couple.
Bro, I'm calling my friends who are doctors. I think I'm dying. So I'm a bit of a hypocrite. Let's be honest.
Devin had his case.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, he had his case. He thought he was gone. He thought he was over.
Madam COVID doesn't fuck around. Because if you think you're better, she's going to take her time with you. She'll work her way through your whole goddamn body. She'll fuck with your toes to the top of your head. So anyway.
I thought I had it in April, but I swear it probably was just like flu or some shit.
Yeah.
I definitely had 100.
You're too fucking strong for COVID, dude. You're too muscular for COVID.
I was in serious fucking thing.
I don't give a fuck about your arms. Your legs are stupid.
Yeah, I'll probably kick somebody.
Your legs are fucking. I could build a housing complex on your goddamn legs. They run out of pillars for a bridge. Just use your fucking legs. Your legs are stupid. How do you find jeans? You don't.
They're stretchy as fuck.
You gotta have stretchy jeans. You gotta wear tights all the time.
I wore them at the show.
I saw that. Yeah. I saw that.
But they stretch good, man.
Yeah.
The problem is with me is I can't find anything really that fits me. You know, it's because I'm 5'8".
Yeah.
I'm not tall, but like if I get something wide, it's not gonna fit my fucking waist, and then I can't get it over my legs.
Yeah,
it's just like,
you got a tiny waist and you're all ass and legs. My girlfriend said that about you, and I didn't like it. I'm pissed off. My girl's giving me a signal right now because we got to go eat.
No, I hear you. We'll get you out of here.
So,
all right. So, podcast.
You can find it. Patreon.com/Bryan Callen, where I debunk conspiracy theories. I'm starting a new podcast pretty soon called Callen & Co. And that's going to be public and free. And I'm releasing my special soon. Don't know what it's called yet, but it's going to be good.
Social media?
Yeah, dude. It's social media. I'm at Bryan Callen on Instagram and all that shit. I just want to, I think I want to move to Florida. I'm going to come here. I'm going to shave my body. I'm going to get on all the juice. I want all the fucking juice. I'm going to tan up and I'm getting sleeved out. I want all the tattoos and I want them to be colorful. I want dragons. I want Yakuza tattoos. And I'm going to be fucking sick. Yep. And I want to wrestle lightly because I don't want to hurt my neck, but I do want cauliflower ears. Yeah. I cannot wait for my new look. Yep. And I'm wearing short shorts all the time because the people need to see my legs.
You got the ears for it.
Thank you, bro. I got a little bit from my years of wrestling.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, Bryan, I appreciate it.
I'm sorry to do it so short. We'll do it again.
No, you're good, man. You're good.
And we'll train.
He's a busy man.
Yes,
we definitely got to train.
I'd love to, brother.
Thanks
Thank you,
again.
man.
We're out.